All right, everybody, welcome to No Offseason. We are now joined by the head coach of the Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart. So great to be with you. Coach, how are you, first of all? Let's start there.
I am well. I am doing really well considering the circumstances. I've been at home with my beautiful wife and kids, and we're getting a lot of bonding time.
Are you homeschooling? Are you contributing there?
I'm disciplinarian. I'm the principal. I don't do a lot of teaching, but I do a lot of reinforcing what she wants done.
Yeah, you have 3 kids. What's the craziest thing that's happened so far, just from the kid standpoint?
Probably when Mom went on a morning jog and we had a 9 o'clock Zoom session to start early in the process before I was a good Zoom person, and me and my 7-year-old we both had kind of a meltdown trying to log on to the class, and I got frustrated. He got frustrated. She came sprinting in at 9, and we thought he was gonna be late to the class, and then come to find out the teacher didn't have it set up right, so we survived it.
So it wasn't the principal's fault; it was the teacher's fault. The other teacher.
You gotta blame somebody. I definitely wasn't my fault. I'm learning though. I'm getting better. I can say this. This has been good for me in terms of learning how to use a computer and do everything.
Yeah, you probably saw that, like Coach Saban was saying, that he finally got on email. He kind of finally figured all this stuff out. From your standpoint, you were much more tech savvy from that angle, but still, it probably is allowing you to figure a lot more of this out to communicate with these guys, right?
Absolutely, you have to. It's the only way you get to communicate is do that. So it makes it enjoyable and different, and it's been a learning experience for all our coaches. But what's good is some good's going to come out of this because we're able to communicate with more programs, more NFL teams, our kids. I'm not saying that I like it, but I'm saying it gives you a chance to study and learn a different way.
Yeah, you're finding a silver lining right now, which is really important. Let's talk about just how you have been communicating with your players, because I know a lot of that has been able to be face-to-face via these video calls that we're talking about.
Well, we try to do it each and every way we can. We FaceTime as a staff. We get on with our players. We're allowed to have meetings with them. We use Zoom for that. We've used player-to-player communication, making sure they're holding each other accountable, and each player's looking out for another guy, and kind of a leadership group that does that. And then our strength staff does some things with them as well, calling them and just checking in right now. We want to make sure their health and well-being and their families. And I had probably 5 or 6 calls today with just our players. So it's not about recruiting as much as it is maintaining a relationship with our guys, because so many of them's routines have been broken.
Yeah, and you're in a unique situation too, with Jamie Newman coming in as your transfer quarterback. So many people excited about him, and really positioning you guys in the SEC and beyond that as a team to compete with and to be a contender next year. How have you communicated with him in trying to give him a playbook or allow him to learn your system offensively?
Well, a lot of it's done through the video. I mean, and a lot of quarterbacks have to learn that way anyway, because we only are allotted so much time, even on a normal schedule, that we get with the quarterback. So this is absolutely abnormal, and for us, so he's done a good job of staying focused, being on top of things. There's going to be a good quarterback competition, because we've got some kids that are going to compete with him and push him, and those guys have gotten with Coach Monken, spent a lot of time. They're able to take their own time, and they can look into more video playbook stuff when they choose to. And the good thing about the quarterbacks is they're usually committed to looking at the tape and doing the things necessary to be successful, and we want them to do that.
How do you keep your players accountable right now? Because we're in obviously uncharted territory. You mentioned it. Some of this is just making sure they're okay, but how are you making sure that they're getting their workouts in and doing the things that they would normally be doing right now?
Well, we're not allowed by NCAA rule or SEC rules to monitor that and really mandate anything. So we certainly can give them ideas of how to work out and suggest things to them, but we can't really have them report back to us or give us information on their workouts. But we can't. The toughest thing is the academic standpoint. A lot of our kids get academic assistance, tutoring, learning specialists, writing centers. Those things are not as easy. So where you've got kids that are competing in a really competitive college classroom that they used to sit in, now they're not only online, but they may not be getting as good of services. Now, we still have tutors and mentoring through Zoom, but it's not the same as one-to-one interaction. So that's the toughest thing. You got to have done a good job. You got to have good kids. You got to have kids that hold each other accountable. You got to have good team leadership. but holding them accountable is tough right now. But if they want to be successful, they realize what they got to do.
When you think about all of this and just how it's unfolded, and like you said, everybody's health continues to be the most important thing. But what has, just in your own situation as the head coach of Georgia, what has been the most challenging?
I think routine. I think worried about my players. The most challenging thing is communicating to the group. You feel like you send out a mass text. You feel like you get on a Zoom with maybe the DBs one day, maybe the linebackers one day, maybe the receivers, and then you jump on a Zoom with the quarterbacks. But you never see everybody together. You never have that feeling of everybody being in the same room, everybody being on the same page. That's tough, and it's even that way within our organization, the chain of command, because you're trying to, have a staff meeting. We had a staff meeting with, I think, 38 people on the Zoom to make sure everybody knows kind of what's going on, what's the next step, what do we need to do to get better at this, what communication's out there. You just have a lot of things detached, and I like to streamline that. And there's a lot of things you can't control, so you shouldn't even try to.
Right. And I realize we have no control of what this schedule is going to look like. One of the things that Coach Will Muschamp has said is that July 13th would kind of be the latest time that he thought players could come back in some way, shape, or form and really be ready for the season to start on time. But what's your thought process of just exactly how long you would expect it to take your team to get ready? What do you think about that kind of middle July benchmark for college football?
Well, I would argue that that's speculative. I understand. Will and I have shared and talked ideas, and as well as most of the SEC coaches, we're kind of in that same fraternity together, and we all talk, and everybody has their opinions. But ultimately, I don't know as coaches if our opinion will ever come near outweighing our athletic trainers and the medical staffs that'll make the final call in safety and well-being of the players. I certainly think that our players are young. They're very resilient. They can get ready in a quick turnaround. And a lot of us as coaches got to be smart about what that turnaround may be. So whether that's July 13th, whether, that's in August. I mean, there's a lot of football seasons been played where guys didn't get time leading up to prepare maybe as much as they have. As long as it's equal, then we're all going to be on the same footing, and we've got to get by with what they give us.
What do you think about a possibility of just trying to find a way to play football, meaning that the season might have to be pushed back to find that way?
I think it's just that. It's a possibility. We're all hopeful, especially in the SEC, that things are going to be able to go as planned. We're very optimistic that those things are going to be able to happen, but we also know that we're at the mercy of some things we can't control.
I know that you've heard some coaches come out about this. Mac Brown said that he would absolutely not be for playing games without fans in the stadium. And, look, if it's not safe for the fans, it's not safe for the players. What is your thought on the idea of being able to play football but not having fans in the stadium?
I think that's tough. I think it's really tough. If it happened as a one-off or as a one-time special scenario, which we saw happen a little bit there early on in basketball, and we thought it might be that way. But to look at it as a long-term or even a season answer, I just think that's tough. I think, not that we play just for the fans, but we certainly are there to entertain, and it certainly affects the kids and the performance. And like you mentioned, if the safety of the fans is at risk, we're going to feel the same way about the players.
Coach, what's a hobby, maybe something fun that you've learned during this time, something that you're doing? I know you're very busy otherwise, but something that you've kind of picked up during this time.
That's a great point, because actually, I don't know if you can see behind me, but I saw a couple times I was talking there. There's a big water bottle back there that 6 or 7 of the guys that I played college football with, we're all buddies. We've decided to have a little weight loss competition because as we were in quarantine, we saw our weights begin to really increase and get out of control. And I won't mention anybody's weights, including mine, but water bottle has become my best friend because every time I need a snack, I go to the water bottle, and I've been able to get myself in a little better shape. My wife's running me a couple miles a day, trying to just stay healthy.
How much water are you drinking a day, you think?
I hope a gallon. That's the goal. It takes a long time to fill that thing up, but that's been the goal. And my kids are making fun of me, but that's all right. If its end result's good, I'm good with it.
And you said there's a group of you doing it. Anybody that we might know in that group?
Yeah, there's a certain offensive coordinator over at South Carolina that's a Bulldog that graduated with me. He's He's in the mix, and we're getting after it in text threads, seeing who can have the biggest percentage loss. Saturday morning is a big weigh-in, so I'm holding my breath that I can drop more percentage points than him.
How do you do the weigh-ins? Do you guys do them on video? Because
Oh yeah, we don't trust each other, so it's
right.
video only. So like you can't say your weight. Your wife has to video you on the scale, verified, for you to win the prize. And it's week to week. So we're doing short term this week, Saturday, and then next week we'll have another weigh-in. But it's gotten really competitive. There's video being shot of guys working out. There's guys 273 pounds running up hills.
Go.
Yes, we need it though. We need it.
And final question on this. Where are you in the rankings right now?
That's a great point. We're going to weigh in Saturday morning for the first time. Nobody's giving any secrets out. We're not distributing this, so it's only weigh in weekly. So I don't know. That's the hardest point. I could be last or I could be first.
Okay, we're going to need a breaking news update on this on Saturday to make sure that we know what's happened here. Coach, just give a message to the Bulldog fans out there that want to hear from you, just what you'd like them to know about how you're thinking about them.
Well, first, I hate that we've had to go through this. We went through it together, and I know times are tough, and so many of our Dog Nation are supporting. They're essential personnel in our state and across the country, whether they're on the front lines of things as a medical staffer, whether they're the guys driving the trucks, they're the guys, the clerks in the grocery stores. So many of them are putting their lives at risk for others. And I just want to thank those people. And that's across the country, even across our Dog Nation fans. But so much has meant to this country that we've been able to do it. And we got to keep doing that, and the better job we do of this right now, it's going to free us up to be able to have our football season. And we all know in the South, we want to have our football season.
Very well said. And now you can go chug your water.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Go Dogs.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.